So I've been applying for some job recently, and I was quite surprised really at let's say, the lack of success. I applied for jobs that, I've got experience in, and I thought that I'd have some really good chance of at least progressing through the interview stage. And I'll give you an idea of one particular job that I applied for. It was for a cybersecurity new business sales manager for the Meta region. So I thought, great, Meta region, Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. These are certainly the areas that I've got experience and I've worked in. And more importantly, I enjoyed working in. So the requirements were like this: 5 years full sales cycle experience selling B2B SaaS solutions to large enterprises. Experience in application security testing would be an advantage. Tick. Not only do I have more than 5 years of sales experience in SaaS, etc., but I've actually got just a little bit over 5 years in that particular field. So really good. That's number one done. The second requirement was a proven track record of achieving and exceeding sales targets. Well, again, tick. I can certainly prove that I've hit target during the time that I was there. But above and beyond that, I can actually show times where I've overachieved because I've qualified for club, like President's Club, which is basically a free holiday to a posh hotel on some exotic island paid for by the company. And you'll only get eligible if you hit a certain percentage above your target. 120%, 130, 150, depending on the company. So yeah, tick, done that, great. The next requirement was working knowledge of sales methodologies such as SPIN, force management, and MEDPIC. Again, massive tick. Yeah, the company that I actually worked for doing cyber security and application security testing were very big on force management. They fully trained all the staff, ranging from the salespeople all the way across marketing, products, the whole company. The next requirement was experience working with partners, VARs, and system integrators. Again, tick. We're getting really excited now because part of my role was not only to work with partners and resellers, but also I was involved in recruiting, training, and enabling them. So again, huge tick. We're really getting there. And then it said previous experience selling into Meta region with a network in the region, an advantage. So yeah, tick, worked in that region. I've got a network. I've got ex-customers, ex-partners that I can call upon almost immediately. Fantastic. Hit the ground running. And then the last one was willingness to travel. Yeah, no problem. It goes with the territory. So anyway, completed the documents, completed the online application form, hit send. Not within, less than 1 hour, I get an email back saying, thank you for your application. Unfortunately, we will not be proceeding any further as we have applicants that are more suitable and a better fit for this role. What? Hang on a second. You wanted all of these requirements. I tick every single one of those requirements. I work for a company that was one of the largest vendors of application security testing. No, rejected. So I thought, what the hell is going on here? So I looked into it. I thought, why have I received a rejection letter, and why have I received one so quickly? Well, it seems that there is something called ATS. Now, ATS stands for Application Tracking System. And basically, it's like a Tinder app, but for recruiters. It just goes through, looks for certain keywords, looks for certain things. If you don't meet it, boom, you're gone. Swipe left, right? It doesn't actually look at the requirements. It doesn't actually look if you're a good fit. It just looks at certain things. It can be keywords that you may or may not have used. It can be the structure of your CV. Your structure may be all pretty in columns instead of paragraphs or whatever. They might not like that. So basically now we're up against software that's automatically rejecting you because HR, heaven forbid, do not have the time to read applications. They don't have the time to look through these applications, that people that have taken the time to apply for the roles that they've advertised because they're far too busy. They're far too busy buying breathing apps and yoga mats and bowls of fruit. So, what chance do we stand? If I cannot even get a 5-minute telephone interview with a company where I have ticked every single one of their requirements, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, really don't. Then it got me thinking, like, well, did this job actually exist in the first place? Because apparently there's a thing now, and it's not me being paranoid. Apparently it's out there that companies are actually posting fake ads. Now you think, well, why would a company post fake ads? Right. Well, again, had a little look around, and there are a number of reasons. The first one is they want to look out there and see what the job market looks like. Key things like, what are your salary expectations? What that does, it helps them to evaluate, what they should put down as a salary should a job become available. So they look at all of the different applicants, their experience, their qualifications, and their salary expectations. And then they will actually create a job ad later down the line that actually fits the majority where they think they can get most success. Right? Great for them, a bit crappy for the people that are applying for jobs that don't exist. The other reason is they're building pipeline, just like a salesperson would. Should in the future a job does come up, then they will reach out to you and say, oh, thank you for applying for this job 6 months ago. Unfortunately, that's been filled, but we have this other job and we'd love to talk to you about it. So then they don't have this empty seat waiting around while they have to go and find people, advertise roles, etc., etc. So that's another reason. But the one that really gets me, and this is something that I've seen, and a lot of people talk about it, is PR, purely PR. Look at us. Look at us. We're constantly recruiting. Look how much we're growing. We're looking for salespeople. We're looking for marketing. We're looking for business development. All of that codwallop when there isn't actually a job there. Now that is disgusting. I mean, if it's true, it is disgusting. It is. My main issue is, and my main worry is basically, I think I'm getting too old. I think I'm getting too old for, well, especially for sales, right? I no longer fit today's image of a tech salesperson. I don't walk around with the muscle fit suits at the conferences. You've seen them, the muscle fit suits that's bursting at the seams, the trousers that are 6 to 7 inches above the ankle, right? The boat shoes and no socks. You can't wear socks. And they've got their mobile phone in one hand and they've got their water bottle in the other because heaven forbid, they've been away from a tap for an hour and they need to keep hydrated. I just don't think I fit that anymore. And perhaps it's my fault. I should have maybe looked at changing into something else or maybe going into management of some kind. And I'm not the only one. But there are a lot of people out there that are feeling that they're at a disadvantage because of their age, that 36% of UK job seekers between the age of 50 and 59 feel disadvantaged due to age. And nearly half recruiters consider 57 too old for job applications. Well, I'm 58, so that may explain a lot of the rejections. But surely experience has got to count for something. Surely, if you take me on, like that job role that I applied for and described earlier, if you take me on, I can hit the ground running. You don't have to train me. I know the industry. I know the sector. I know the sales methodologies. You just have to give me a computer and let me go. Right? I don't get it. I don't get it. But, it's the world that we live in. There is age bias out there. I'm not saying it's conscious, but it's definitely out there. But it's not all bad news. I've had some good news this week. I applied for a job role a couple of weeks ago in sales, in cybersecurity, and lo and behold, within a couple of days, I got a phone call from the internal recruiter. Wanted to have a chat. We had a chat, great chat. She said, I'm going to put you through for a a Zoom call with the hiring manager, i.e., my potential future boss. Had a call with a lady, very nice. We got on really well, and I think I did a great job. But the problem that I found was the questioning. Why hasn't questioning moved forward? Everything else has moved forward. They're using technology to weed out the undesirables, people like me, but they're still using the same questioning techniques. What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? Well, I've got a nut allergy. I haven't, but it could be. But the one that really gets me, the one that I think is the most cliche of all of them, is why do you want to work for us? Why do you want to work for X company? Now, this is the moment when they are probably expecting some major, major bum licking. Yeah, really expecting some major bum licking. Oh, I've read your mission statement and it really touched me. It's exactly how I feel. Your leadership team have done wonderful things. Your products are amazing. I've been following your company for years and years. Listen, mate, you're not Apple, you're not Google, all right? Yeah. If you're these sort of big companies, yeah, you can ask that. Of course you can. But you're not one of these organisations. So ask some questions. Ask some questions that are probably relevant to the role. But anyway, like I said, I must have done it right because they sent me an email saying, we'd like to invite you to the next stage of the interview process. So remember, I've already had two. I've had a 15-minute call and a 1 hour call with the hiring manager. So the next stage of this process is, again, more cliche. I have to do a presentation, and the presentation has to be on the company. So I've got to say a load of wonderful things on the company that I found out on the internet. Yeah, nothing new there. It's just basic stuff. Then they want me to do a 30, 60, 90-day business strategy. Well, don't you have your own business strategy that you want me to use? I've done it before. I've been asked for it many times in all of my career. Nothing new at all. I'll just copy and paste from ones that I've done before. But the one that really got to me was the final requirement in this email. And in this email, they wanted me to present a figure that I could reach in terms of new business sales within 6 months of being at that organisation. Yeah, let's just think about that. I don't know the cost of your product. I don't know the average sales cycle, how long it takes to sell your product. I don't know the territory that I will be given should I get the job. I don't know if I've got any pipeline that I'll be working on. I don't know any of these things. And you want me to commit to a number during an interview stage. Guys, if you get this sort of question, if you get this sort of requirement, run like the wind, because this company has no interest in building you, training you, and empowering you and enabling you to be successful. They want you to sit on a seat and start producing revenue from day one. It's like asking me, how many sausage sandwiches are you going to eat next week? I don't know. Have I got sausages? Do I have bread? Will I be hungry? Will I be on holiday? Am I a vegetarian? It's stupid. You get this question, you run like the wind. But it didn't stop there. Basically, what they then wanted me to do is that if I pass that stage, then there's another round where I will be talking to 5 department heads. Now, these 5 department heads, for some reason, feel that they need to speak to a mid-level salesperson during an interview process. And those department heads are head of product management, head of marketing, head of HR, head of sales, and who was the last one? Oh, a head of channel. Now, head of sales I get because I'm in sales and I'll probably have to work with the guy or the lady quite closely, right? Head of product management. I've been in sales for many, many years, and the only time that I get to speak to product management is at the coffee station at the sales kickoff. Or if they're doing a presentation about all the wonderful new features that they're going to try to get out in the next 12 months. And then there's marketing. I'll be working with marketing. But are they trying to identify if I'm one of those people saying all fluffy things about marketing? Oh, look at the amazing number of leads that I've got from content syndication. These are people that have read an article on a magazine and their email address is mickey.mouse@disney.com. So I don't understand why processes have to take so long. But apparently it's the norm now. Apparently it's now the norm, especially in the tech sector and cybersecurity, etc., that an interview process is 5 to 7 stages. When did this happen? Yeah. Last year, I got a job in a quite decent large organisation. I had a call with HR. I had a call with my senior manager, who then arranged a call with my regional director, which was just a tick box exercise. They sent me an offer. But now 7 stages with people that may or may not be relevant to your role. Is it to make them feel important? What is it? I don't know. But that's apparently the norm now. So to summarise, I have come across companies that are potentially posting fake job ads just so that they can look good on LinkedIn or whatever. Look at us, we're growing, we want more people. Companies that are using automated systems to go through job applications and literally look at keywords or CV structures to say yes or no. I was told, no, don't want him. Yes, he ticks all of the boxes. Yes, he's got the experience. Yes, he's got the training. Yes, he's got the product knowledge. But his CV's in columns. Nah, get rid. I don't know. And then we've got companies that are still using old cliche interview techniques that give no value to them or to me. But most worryingly, we've got companies that are definitely showing some age bias. There are stats out there are cases out there, and that's a real concern. Well, thank you very much for listening. I would love to hear some stories about successful applications, stupid questions that you've come across, and would particularly love to hear if you've had really complex interview processes. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and thanks very much.